My name is Evan Harrington.
It's Buffalo Pepsi. You want to try some? Look at me. Buffalo Pepsi. Look at me. There's different flavors.
The biggest Jags fan of all time, Justin Bachman.
If you're not sweeping, you're doing it wrong.
To be biased, but Duval. I'm your host, Frank the Tank Lopez. I'm ready to fight a kid if it happens. If one kid says one dumb thing tomorrow about Baker Mayfield or anything, I'm punching a kid.
Mr. Brotherly Love here, Chris Giacobello. I know how to turn the mics on, Dan.
That's a good thing to know.
We got it. Progress. Where is this Ronaldo slander? Why do you have Ronaldo slander? Where is this banter coming from, Frank? Is it because Ronaldo was at Manchester United and absolutely torched Arsenal?
My name's Dan Dale, a.k.a. Double D.
You're quiet. I can barely hear you.
Why am I quiet? When am I quiet?
Dan, you're quiet.
How am I ever quiet?
Here is The Blitz on 91.3 FM.
Live here from Buffalo State University.
Welcome into the Blitz on 91.3 FM WBOI Buffalo. Buffalo's original alternative since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. My name is Dan Dale, also known as Double D. And oh my God, is it the beginning of the end? One more year. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I don't even want to think about it right now. I don't. Beginning of the end. Crazy to think about. And there's a guy right next to me who's been with me, at least since I've been here. He's been here a little bit longer than me because he figured out this place before I did. Or he just joined it before I did. Evan Harrington.
It's good to be back. And when you mentioned that I found out about this place before you, I didn't really find out about it. I kind of just walked into a room and stumbled down this like checkered board hallway, and I was like, what is this place? I was like, the radio. No one was in here. And I just left my name and email and number on a note, and then, if you've been listening to the show here for a while with myself and Dan on it, you probably know the name Evan DePasquale. That's how he reached out to me. Here we are. I was here for, I don't know, probably like 3 months before you. Not too long. Not too tenured on compared to you. But yeah, This is it, man. This is the final ride, the final stretch.
Right.
Here on the Blitz. And, we also have a couple guys here.
Oh, of course.
With us.
More people who are going to leave at some point.
That are joining us for it. But yeah, here we are back for the fall semester of 2024.
The first one who also leaves the same time as me and Harrington, Mr. Chris Giacobello.
Are we ready for that? I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, it's just like, I'm going to miss the radio. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know. At this point, it's like, I don't even... It's too out of reach right now. It's too out of reach. We still got a whole semester, like 2 semesters left.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not thinking about it until it's like summer comes along. And that's when I'm going to start dying inside.
When the summer comes along, we're going to be done.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, I mean, once the season starts to change, you know what I mean. Then right next to Mr. Chris Giacobello, a guy who said he was going to be gone, then he said, nope, I'm coming back. Mr. Justin Bachman.
Oh, you couldn't get rid of me that easy. Duval, y'all know the shtick. Yeah, let's not start talking about leaving until, we're scratching to make content in the last couple weeks of the spring semester when we're all talking about, how basketball playoffs are better than whatever. And,
oh, jeez.
And, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But, Duval, we're back.
If you're... Oh, my God, I'm forgetting the shtick.
Oh, you mean...
I mean the very famous shtick.
If you ain't sweeping, you're doing it wrong?
It's never going to be different that we're going to try to get a product placement, and we're never going to get it. But a person can dream. Oh my God, would it be something if we just had Schweppes Studio A?
That'd be fantastic.
That would be utterly fantastic. And then right next to Mr. Justin Bachman, Joey Cheese, how are you?
I'm doing good. And I've enjoyed my first 2 days actually on campus with classes. It's been a good time. Met a lot of people already. And hopefully we'll meet some more. and pretty soon some sports will start.
Oh my goodness, we've already got a call.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And just continuing with that, how's everyone's first couple days of classes been going? I mean, that's kind of the talking point here as we are back within the semester is not only is Bills season around the corner, we're going to start getting into the rumblings of the Sabres season. But
do I really want rumblings of the Sabres season? Do I really want that?
Yeah.
Hey,
Classes are
listen.
back. That's the big thing with school.
Let's go Sharks, baby.
There is somebody else who also is on the line because he can't be here.
Oh, no.
Mr. Other Florida man, Frank the Tank.
Franklin the Tanklin.
Hi, guys.
My cousin. How are you?
My cousin.
Cuzzo.
Frank, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing splendid. Great. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Frank,
Life's going great.
If no one told you today, you're beautiful, King.
I really needed that. Holy shit.
Well, that did not take long.
What?
Oh, my goodness. And just
there
like
we
that,
go.
Just like that, Frank goes from being beautiful to being the ugliest person I've ever seen in my entire life.
6 minutes in. 6 minutes in the new semester.
I think that's a record.
That
has to be a record.
It's got to be a record.
Who won the Stanley Cup?
It's the Florida Panthers. That's right, Joey Cheese.
Oh, my God.
That's on me. That's completely on me. I take full blame for that one.
Well, you can't exactly put it on anybody
Yeah,
else.
you can't. Yeah, you're the only one on the phone, Frank.
I can put it on Chris.
I can put it. Whoa!
How is this my fault?
I just did.
I just did.
It makes sense.
Oh my God! Well, that's a way to start a new semester.
Right out the gate.
It almost had the same amount as hit as Jeff effing Skinner.
That's right, baby.
Oh,
That's right, baby.
That was such a long time ago now to think about it. Oh my God!
Hey, listen.
Beginning of the end, though. This is it.
I know. You go in December too. You don't even stay for the spring. You just leave us.
I'll probably stay for the spring. I'll just pop up whenever.
Yeah, word. I'm in the same boat.
All right. Why don't we get to some NFL news? Of course, you got to start with cut down day.
I want to talk about one thing really quick.
Oh, sure.
I want to talk about how the hell are Martavis Bryant and Jordan Matthews still in the NFL?
Good question.
He scored his first touchdown the other day. In
They
7
both
years.
Scored.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I saw that name. I saw M. Bryant score a touchdown. I'd be honest. I would never watch a Commanders game, regular season, preseason, postseason, Super Bowl. I don't care. But I saw M. Bryant pop up when I was just scrolling through on the stats. I'm like, there's no way, right? There's no way that is Martavis Bryant, the same guy who beat the Bengals in the wild card round the one time that Andy Dalton got there. The same guy who did a front flip out of the back of the corner of the end zone to score a touchdown. There's no way that's that guy, right?
Oh, he is indeed that guy.
He is indeed him. And Jordan Matthews playing tight end now, right? Is that?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Unbelievable.
I mean, what? We traded for him 7 years ago, and that was his first touchdown in Orchard Park?
Yeah, can I just say I was there and witnessed that, and like when the announcer said Jordan Matthews, I was like, this can't be.
This can't be that guy.
This can't be the guy the Eagles drafted. I was like so shook. I was like, no way, this dude's still in the
Bro
league.
went on the Calvin Benjamin diet.
Oh my goodness. So did N'Keal Harry. You see that guy recently? Oh my.
So
goodness.
did Keenan Allen. Did you see him?
Yo, bro, Keenan Allen. It had to have been the camera, bro.
It had to be something.
It had to have been the camera because in the first preseason game when Keenan Allen lined up on the line of scrimmage, I looked and I'm like, oh, they got a dual tight end set out there. and then I saw the number and I'm like, that's Keenan Allen? There's no way.
You just saw it was Mercedes Lewis out there. He's actually still in the league. He made the Bears. He made the Bears 53.
Hey, listen, man, that brother's him. Former Jaguar Duval, shout out.
What
Get
is its
after it.
19th year in the league?
I was thinking.
He's
I was
what, yeah,
thinking
39?
47.
Yeah.
I was thinking 47th year in the league.
47.
He's got Tom Brady longevity. I mean, it's official. I mean, Mercedes Lewis has been around as long as some of our favorite quarterbacks in the league.
Is he him?
If not longer.
Is he just him? Is he just that guy? How many career yards does Mercedes Lewis?
I'm gonna actually look it up.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question.
Because if it's under like 8,500, I'm gonna.
Oh, it's way less than that.
I always forget how to spell his name. I always spell
It's
Mercedes Lewis like the car.
Is it not the car?
Right.
It is not. It's like Mercedes Lewis.
You guys
MAR.
want to actually guess his career statistics?
Yeah. Let me throw.
Oh, I will
let me
not
throw
look,
out a
man.
yardage. Let me throw out a yardage.
Let
Let me go with
Jeez.
7,241.
No.
I'm going.
Was I close?
No.
I'm going. He was a mainly blocking tight end. He would get passes here and there. I'm going like at most 4K yards.
No. Higher.
Okay.
Higher
than 4K.
6,000.
Lower.
So we're looking right at 5.
So you're telling me in a 1947 128 year career, this brother's got 5,000 career yards?
5,113 yards with 40 touchdowns and a long of 63.
Has he even won a Super Bowl? I don't think he has.
No.
That's depressing. that is just depressing.
This isn't a knock on you, Justin, but he did spend from 2006 to 2017 on the Jaguars. Now they did make the run.
They did.
So your team's the problem.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're not. Brother, let's take a look at that time span. What did you say? You said 06 to 2017?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
His best year,
who's
though.
Slinging the rock to him? Like, he's got the latter years of Mark Brunell, like the last 2 years of Mark Brunell.
Yep.
He's got David Garrard. He's got Chad Henne. He's got, oh my goodness, Blaine Gabbert.
Blake Bortles.
Blake
Bortles.
the boat. Brother, that buns. God, I feel bad.
His best year, though, and you got to give credit, though, to Mercedes Lewis. His best year in when tight ends are just uprising within being a receiving threat in today's NFL. There was only a couple exceptions, like the Antonio Gates, the Rob Gronkowskis, the Tony Gonzalez's, the exceptions.
Shannon Sharp,
yeah. 2010, 58 receptions for 700 yards and 10 touchdowns.
So you're telling me
That's
he
his
got,
best year.
he got a fifth of his career yards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom line, though.
No, he got 1/4 of his career touchdowns in one season. That's the funny number.
Yo, bro.
That's the funny number.
He might have been the tight end one that season in fantasy. He might have 10 touchdowns. That's quite a few.
No, that's a good stat line.
That's a good number of touchdowns.
He got the dance 40 times, though. Think about that.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
That's a lot of touchdowns.
that's more than Julian Edelman.
Yeah, you know, I can't argue with that.
Who's a Hall of Famer first?
Who's a Homer Famer first?
Mercedes Lewis or Julian Edelman?
You know what? I rather phrase that question instead of Julian Edelman, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Eli Manning.
No, he'll just get in because he's paying brother.
The boat. Who gets in first? The boat?
That's a discussion. Blake Bortles to the Hall of Fame.
That he's. Yes. I think he's third all time. Or no, actually, he might have dropped down to fourth. He might be fourth all time in Jags passing yards.
You know what? For Blake Bortles, that's pretty dang good.
The best thing Blake Bortles ever did was have that Barstool Sports interview.
Yes, that is the greatest thing of his entire career.
That Barstool Sports interview. That was something
when he
to
was
hone in
randomly on the Rams for 20 minutes. when he was on the Rams roster for 20 minutes. That was also a Blake Bortles highlight.
Something that him and Baker Mayfield have in common. They're on the Rams roster for pretty much 20 minutes.
You know what?
Frank,
I feel like
the disrespect is crazy.
I almost feel like Blake Bortles' times on the Rams was better than Baker because at least Blake didn't get made fun of by Patrick Starr.
Baker came in less than 24 hours or 48 hours. Sorry, and
won a game.
Won a game. Let the final drive.
He passed a touchdown to Bobby Trees. Robert Woods.
That was a historical night game. That was a fun game.
That was a fun game.
But I gotta admit, I wouldn't want to be made fun of by Patrick Starr.
Was that game against the Raiders?
No, it was against Carolina, I think.
It was definitely a bad team.
It was a bad team.
The Rams only had 17 points, I believe, in that game when they won.
Jeez.
It was like 17-13. It was not a high scoring game.
Raiders. I might be crazy for that, but I really think it was the Raiders. I'm a Baker Mayfield.
I mean,
I'm a guy.
We should go to the Baker Mayfield enthusiast over the phone.
I need to go to the Baker Mayfield convention.
Why are you throwing it to me? What's going on? I love Baker.
I love Baker. That's all we needed. Frank, do you remember who that game?
Own the NFC.
What that game that Baker played as a Ram against, where he got made fun of by
24 hours? Oh, the Patrick Starr.
The Patrick Starr clip, yeah.
Oh, God.
It was the Raiders.
It was the Raiders. Wow.
I'm that guy. That should be a trivia question one day. Who did Baker Mayfield just go out and prove that he's that guy against?
You know, Justin, I haven't even shown you. We have a wheel now.
We have a wheel?
We have a wheel.
Like a physical wheel?
Like a prize wheel.
Like a physical wheel?
Yeah, it's here. It's in the back.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know. It's amazing. All right. Shall we get off the boat talk?
Yeah. What are we doing?
I
before
think
we do. You want to talk about the Steelers' new quarterback?
Sure, we can do that. We can lead in with that.
Starter.
Oh, wait. Who did they do it?
Oh, you guys don't know?
Bro,
take a guess.
For
anyone who actually does not know, if you know who the starter is, don't say. If you don't know who the starter is, take a guess.
Let me give my 2 cents. I think if the Steelers want to uphold Mike Tomlin's undefeated, defeated, whatever, non-losing season record, I think you start Russell Wilson. I think if you want to give your team a chance to actually go out there and do something, and maybe if he doesn't do anything, you actually give your team a chance to take a high-end first-round pick, you go with Justin Fields. So I think if Mike Tomlin has any sort of brain cell in his nog, I'm going with Justin Fields.
All right. 1 vote for Fields.
Chris?
I'm going to just stick with the veteran here and go Russ. I mean, I guess you could say Justin Fields was like a top prospect, but he didn't show anything in Chicago. Yeah, he didn't have any weapons, but I mean... What? Okay, let me finish my sentence here, Frank.
No.
But I still think Mike Tomlin is just going to go with Russ just because of the experience he has, just because of his resume, his Super Bowl. He's got a Super Bowl. I mean, that's just me speaking. I think he's going to pick the veteran and go Russ.
All right, so it's 1-1 at the moment in time. I guess before we go to Joey here, Frank, you had something to say. I'm assuming you're going to go with Justin Fields.
Oh, I mean, I already know the answer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, then no.
No.
All right.
Joey Cheese.
I'm going to say he was unhappy with both of them and re-signed Kenny Pickett.
Oh, so 1-1.
Nah, let's go Duck Hodges.
Oh, jeez.
Went for the independent.
The Duck. All right, who is it?
Dan, do you know?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are 1-1. We don't have a tiebreaker. I thought Joey was going to be the tiebreaker, but he went outside the box. It is indeed. Drumroll, please. Mr. Let's Ride.
No! Gosh, Mr. Unlimited. No, that guy sucks, man. Gosh, Mike Tomlin just can't have a not losing season. They're not going to go anywhere. Gosh, dumb decision.
Pittsburgh Steelers sign Justin Bachman right now as coach.
Give
me the job, Mike.
You're going to start yelling at Arthur Smith. You don't know how to work with QBs. Give them to me.
You don't know how to do anything. Najee Harris is about to be a 2,000-yard rusher because Mr. Unlimited is garbage.
No, you mean Cordero Patterson.
Word 2.
No, I think it's a fine decision to go Russell. I think it's fine. I mean, you really have 2 guys who you're not paying that much anyway. Why not have the guy who has the experience, who actually shows up sometimes more than Justin Fields? because what I've noticed with Justin Fields is that he shows up in the second half. So if Tomlin's playing this right, Russell always shows up in the first half. Mr. Like MVP caliber type guy,
Mr. Unlimited,
and then halfway through, right as you get to the bye week, you go, all right, Justin, get in there.
Yeah, I don't.
But what if Russ cooks? Remember, Dan.
Russ doesn't cook. He burns.
That brother.
He welds now.
He welds.
He welds.
That brother Russ couldn't cook.
Remember, it went from letting him pour the milk in the bowl. He's kind of cooking up a little bit of wagyu over there in Denver. I mean, obviously it didn't last very long, but what are we forgetting?
That guy Russ couldn't cook if I put him next to Betty Crocker. All right, let's keep.
I don't even think if Gordon Ramsay was next to him, he would be able to cook anything right.
I want to have faith in him. I really do. I mean, we're talking about a guy who went to 2 Super Bowls in his first 5 years in the league. We're talking about the same guy who looked at the greatest offense of all time and said, well, I mean, I guess he didn't say it. The Legion of Boom said it, but he told him to shut up, and then he scored 48 points on the second best defense in the NFL that season. I get it. But does Russell Wilson make the Steelers better? No. Does Justin Fields make the Steelers better?
No.
No. So you, in my opinion, right now, have to take the risk. You got to take the gamble to actually give your team a chance to draft somebody. The Steelers have been picking at like probably 15 or 16 every year since 2011. When are we going to figure it out, Mike? When are you going to make it past 10 wins again? I mean, the last time you went past 10 wins, you started off 11-1, and then you lost the final 5 games of the season, went into the playoffs 11-6, and then got first rounded by Cleveland. You got first rounded by Baker Mayfield. No offense. I love that guy. But I said no offense. Relax yourself.
I mean, I will say that if you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, to bounce off you, Justin, if you look at their draft history, the last pick in the top 10 was actually a guy they traded up for in Devin Bush. But before that, let's say they didn't trade up and stayed where they were, which was, of course, later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Their last top 10 pick was in 2000, number 8, for Plaxico Burris.
Plaxico Burris. Brother,
Plaxico Burris, wide receiver out of Michigan State.
Hey, that guy ended the Patriots' undefeated season. Everybody thinks it was David Tyree. No, that guy Plaxico Burris in the back corner of the end zone ended the Patriots' undefeated season. No disrespect.
But I mean, even let's say you go past him. 1989, number 7, wow. Tim Worley, running back out of Georgia. They don't pick early. They just don't.
I'm confused. Like, I wish we had like a hardcore Steelers fan, because I need to know, like, from a Steelers fan perspective. Oh, do we?
Who is the hardcore Steelers fan?
Dan.
Yeah, let's run, baby.
Oh, all right. So never mind.
I like Heinz.
I wish we.
I don't know. I feel like that's what the thing
I love ketchup.
I love ketchup.
I wish we had a hardcore Steelers fan, so that way we can genuinely ask, are you okay with just winning 9 games every year? Because, like, at what point do you actually want to, like, I don't know, make the playoffs? Actually compete in the playoffs? At what point do you hit that, like, is Mike Tomlin actually that guy? Is he that guy?
Really, it's not...
I don't know.
I don't think it's Mike Tomlin if he's that guy. I think it's T.J. Watt is that guy, and that's the only reason he still has a job.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, if you look at the... I love seeing the stat of Mike Tomlin with T.J. Watt, or, Pittsburgh Steelers with T.J. Watt and without T.J. Watt, and the records are 2 flip-flops. I mean, you either have a complete winning record, which is amazing, or you have Carolina... New England winning record of the past, 2 years.
Carolina was crazy.
I mean, it's just that bad. And it's just, they're relying off one guy. And I get it. Yeah, it's a team sport. But when it's that, influential, that one guy is making or breaking your season.
I wouldn't
sometimes.
say they've been relying off one guy like Alex Highsmith.
Yeah, no,
Cam Hayward.
They've always been built on a great defense.
Like they've always had a very good front seven.
They have, but I feel like the only reason I think TJ Watt gets as much praise as he does, I mean, he takes another offensive lineman away. I think you would double up TJ Watt. If you don't, you're stupid.
At least 2.
And that opens up Cameron Hayward or another linebacker coming down or safety. I mean, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick. I just think that you play different. You play the Steelers 10 times different with TJ Watt and without. I mean, I think it's 2 completely different game plans.
Well, of course. I mean, because he is a game destroying talent, and that's why everybody's going to be looking at the Rams differently this season because now they don't have to waste 2 offensive linemen on 1 defensive tackle. I mean, it's to a point where, I mean, realistically, the back half, from 2010 to now, the Steelers have been nothing.
Yep.
I mean, they went to the Super Bowl in 2011, so I guess I can't say nothing.
The Killer Bees for a while.
Yeah.
Really, they might have been the second or third best AFC team for a few years stretch.
But they didn't go. They haven't been to a Super Bowl in 13 years. The last time they went to the Super Bowl, they lost to Aaron Rodgers in his 1 Super Bowl victory at the moment. So now, I mean, you got 13 years.
At the moment.
Hey, listen. I gotta respect my boy Spike. Give the Jets a chance.
I am the Jets.
But at the moment, Mike Tomlin has been holding on to his job because in 17 seasons, he's never had a losing season. Big Ben's 1 Super Bowl victory is without Mike Tomlin. I feel like people don't talk about that. The 1 Super Bowl that Big Ben has, 2 Super Bowls, you're right, 2 Super Bowls.
It's 1-1.
Is it 1-1? Did Mike Tomlin get one?
Yeah.
What year was that? Was that
07?
7? That was his second year.
Because he won.
First year as head coach.
Yeah, he won early on.
So
I'll look it up, but I know it's 1-1.
Is it 1-1? Because I know they won Big Ben's second year.
Yeah.
And then his 4th or 5th. Because Hines Ward has 2. And he retired in 07, 08. So it has to be somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up real quick.
But either way, you wasted the back half of Big Ben's career. And I know that might be a strong statement, but if your coach can't coach you anywhere past the teetering point of 500 in the regular season, and you haven't been back to they haven't been back to an AFC championship game since 2011. The closest they got was when they got throttled by the Jags
2009.
at home. 2009 was the second Super Bowl?
Yeah, when they beat Arizona.
All right, so Mike Tomlin does have 1.
Yeah, because that's the Madden cover the year after Palomalu
and Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald had that insane game.
That insane game. Unbelievable game.
Went to nothing, sadly.
I just don't understand how you can be thrilled for a season as a Pittsburgh fan anymore. Because, you're going to win games. Congratulations, but you ain't going to do anything with any of your wins.
So you're saying too much defense, no offense throughout the latter part of his coaching career?
Well, I don't even know if it's that. I just don't think he can coach in the postseason. I don't think Mike Tomlin can coach a winning organization. I truly don't think he can. Because if he could, the Steelers might have another AFC championship game appearance.
I think also...
And you can't say that he didn't have the talent around him for that. He had 2 of the best offensive players of the 2010s. He had Big Ben, who was arguably a top 10 quarterback. So many winning records, and yet nothing to show for it.
Well, yeah, he had Antonio Brown when he was sane.
I don't think it's a hot take to say that Mike Tomlin is very overrated as a head coach.
No,
well, I mean, it depends. What is your definition of overrated?
A coach that can take your team to, I would say, success consistently is a good coach. And I don't know if a winning season every year, but making the playoffs a quarter of them is successful.
Well,
I mean, in a sense, I mean, it's what is your definement of successful, right? Like, if you're there every year and you're kind of giving yourself a shot at it, I'd say that's successful.
Shot at from a long every year?
From a longevity standpoint, I'd say it's successful but underwhelming. Like, from an instance, we can look at the Buffalo Bills. All right, the Buffalo Bills have arguably been the second best team in the National Football League over the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. From a win standpoint, they've been the second best team. It's been successful, but underwhelming. It's the same thing you can say about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin in a sense, but over a longer period of time.
You're right.
They've been one of the more successful, long-standing, competitive teams in the league, but when it comes to winning the playoff game, multiple playoff games, getting back to what they were doing in the late 2000s, early 2010s, yeah, from that standpoint, it's underwhelming, but like from a fan base accordingly, an owner's perspective, getting fans in seats. Overall, I mean,
that
going
is
over
true.
500 every year and making the playoffs every couple of years, I'd say that's fairly successful compared to other regimes.
That is true, but I mean, for a while, the Steelers were the best team in the AFC, and they didn't do anything with it. With the Killer Bees,
well,
the 3 years, the three like good years of the Killer Bees, the Steelers were the favorable team in the AFC.
Well, I mean, the same thing can be said every year. For again, a Buffalo Bills point. The Buffalo Bills arguably...
I don't know if there's a year momentarily that they've been the favorite in the AFC. I think the Chiefs have had that on lockdown for the past 5 years.
You can say the Bills were the favorite a couple times going into the playoffs, but Mahomes outbested them. You can say that the Steelers were the favorite going in, but Brady and Belichick outbested them.
I don't even know how many playoff games Roethlisberger lost to Brady, or the Steelers lost to the
divisional
Patriots.
round in 16, I want to say. Maybe 17 it was.
No, 17 they lost to the Jags.
Then it was 16. Might have been 18, actually. That was their last run at it, I believe. Remember that? Trying to remember who caught the ball. Tight end, Jesse James, it might have been.
Yep, Jesse James.
Bounced. They called it no touchdown.
Yep.
Then they threw like a pick right after.
Mm-hmm.
That was their last run at it.
That was their last run at it. But they had like, I mean, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, they realistically should have beat the Jags. You put up 42 points on a team and you still lost. The final score of that game was 45-42.
Yeah.
And we didn't even win on a field goal. We won on a last-second touchdown. And that moment replays in my head rent-free. But, I don't know. I mean... You can be excited if you want as a Steelers fan. I would rather lose games and get better than keep winning games and stay at the same pace. That's just me.
Roethlisberger and Brady only faced off twice in the playoffs, just as a point.
So I wonder who they were losing to. I mean,
did Blake Bortles one year?
Yeah, Blake Bortles
even though we
one year.
did lose to Blake Bortles that year too.
Blake Bortles one
crazy.
Year. And then 2015, they beat the Bengals.
They lost to what? The Chiefs? They lost to
Alex Smith. I think I said.
No. They lost to Mahomes.
In 2015?
No. It was later. It was like 2019,
Yeah, it was close. There was a close game at halftime. I remember that game.
I think the big Baker playoff game when he was with the Browns, he beat the Steelers.
That was Baker's rookie year.
I think that was Baker versus Ben.
That was 2018.
Okay, that was 2018.
Or no, that was 2019.
Okay. We're trying to set up a timeline.
COVID year was the year that the Steelers went on that 11-0 streak, and then they lost the final 6 games of the season.
Right. Yeah, I mean...
So they lost to Mahomes that year.
Right.
But 2015, they beat the Bengals in the wild card. I don't know who they lost to that year. 2015, it might have been the Broncos. It might have been the Broncos. Because that was when the Broncos went to the Super Bowl. So it could have been the Broncos. Either way, we're rambling at this point.
We're just trying to make Steelers fans kind of feel better but worse at the same time.
You are heard, Steelers Nation.
You're right. Yeah,
And-
it's like you're there.
And go ahead and have fun welding with Mr.
I don't know.
Unlimited.
Why are we being nice to Steelers fans? Screw Steelers fans.
Why screw Steelers fans, Frank? Huh? Why are you on that side, huh?
They do all this talking online. They do all this talking in real life. and
They
in
do
person.
a lot of talking.
They are
For
chats.
what? For what?
To go 500.
The
What are you
Buccaneers
talking about?
gave the Buccaneers gave their homeboy, their Antonio Brown, their precious little all-star, a World Series ring.
That
Not
is
World
true.
Series, Super Bowl ring.
That is true.
To be fair,
All right,
Frank,
they didn't do that.
the Buccaneers are the
All right.
equivalent to the Steelers of the NFC to the AFC.
You know, it's
All right.
that's,
What?
that's not,
All right.
that's not a hot take.
It's a pretty valid one.
Oh,
That might be pretty valid. I don't know.
No,
I might
we
go. I
sucked
might
for
say the
so long.
Cowboys.
No, you
The
guys are
Steelers.
9 and 8 every year, man.
I might say the
That was
Cowboys.
before
and
Brady. What are you
Steelers
talking
of
about?
the,
Oh, 1 year wonders.
9 and 8, man.
COVID year doesn't count.
You guys are.
Fake chip.
I could bet that the Steelers and Bucks will finish with the same record, 9 and 8.
Nah,
I'll take it.
I love the Buccaneers.
I like how you say you
That
take
is literally a Steelers fan, modern day. Well, I'll take it.
I'll take that.
I'll be contempt.
I'll be happy for a bit.
Well, everyone's, no one believes in us again for some reason. So listen. If we get a winning record,
Because nobody thinks
Sure.
Baker Mayfield is that guy. I think Baker Mayfield's that guy. I love
for
him.
some reason, but it's whatever. Finishes top 10 in multiple quarterback stats, but he's not him, so whatever.
So does Russell Wilson.
I'm good.
Russell Wilson does not finish in top 10 stats,
Oh,
brother.
my God.
Some of them.
Russell, well, yeah, all right, but interceptions maybe.
He did in my
might be up there.
standard football league last year, fantasy football league.
Oh my
He came
God.
top 10.
I hate that guy. I hate Mr. Unlimited. He's so buns. He's so good at being so bad.
Let's make a bet. Steelers and the Bucks are going to finish with the same record, 9 and 8.
I take that the Buccaneers will have a better record.
Steelers and Bucks in the Super Bowl.
Oh, jeez.
I honestly think this is the first year that the Steelers actually go under 500. And I know people have been saying it for years now. The Steelers aren't going to win the games. Blah, 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 blah.
At some point,
the
it's got to
Steelers have
happen.
Mr. Unlimited and Mr. Can't Play in the NFL at quarterback. Let's figure it out. There's no way, no shot, no how that the Steelers win 9 games. I can't see it. Can't do it.
All right.
Can't root for it.
Frank,
can't
now here
happen.
you go. Here's your Justin Fields bit.
Justin Fields is a starter in the NFL.
Yeah, so
I don't
is Jarrett Stidham, apparently. You guys see that interview? Yeah, Jarrett Stidham, he loves himself. That guy looks in the mirror every day and says, I'm him. I'm that guy.
Nathan Peterman, #1 quarterback in the NFL.
Trey Lance and Nathan Peterman have one thing in common: 5 interceptions in a game.
That's crazy true. But, I mean, I can't wait for Trey Lance to take over for Dak Prescott next year when he doesn't get a contract.
Oh, yeah, I know. The Cowboys made their decision. How do we feel about that? The Cowboys picked.
Yeah.
They had to
They
pick
picked
one.
CD.
They picked CD.
They said CD's monies.
And Dakota, he's...
Thank you, Chris, for laughing. Thank you, Chris, for laughing for that bad joke.
Dakota Prescott is going to be no more in a Dallas Cowboys uniform. Unless he takes a pay slice.
Speaking of that, Jamar Chase showed up late to the Bengals practice in just regular street clothes, and he was 13 minutes late, no pads on, nothing. And Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach, said he was going to be there today.
And they would be practicing all week.
Yeah, and mind you, this is a player that wants $40 million a year, $40 million, $160
Well, of course,
million
he wants
in total.
To be, he wants
but
to be
he
the
still
highest
has
paid.
2 years left on his initial rookie deal.
He wants to get paid. He wants to get paid before he may or may not get injured. Maybe he thinks a part of his body is giving out on him, and he wants money before it happens. I don't know. I don't understand how. Like, I mean, maybe I just don't have an inflated head. But if I was making even $1 million a year guaranteed, I'd be all right with it.
I'd
Sign
be all
me
right.
up.
I mean, And plus, they still have Micah Parsons to sign in Dallas. I mean, and if you're thinking about the Bengals, you have to think about T. Higgins.
I want to know what the heck the Niners are doing.
With Ayuk?
Not even with Ayuk. Trent Williams?
Yeah, heard about that.
I mean, like, I think that if one of those two is expendable, it's Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, 100%.
Trent Williams is the only thing on that O-line that's keeping Brock Purdy on his feet.
It's the only thing keeping Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy will get lit up on his blind side because I don't know if you guys watch Brock Purdy tape, but that brother is not worried about anything coming up from behind him. He cannot feel pressure from his backside because Trent Williams has never let it happen. And now, if Trent Williams doesn't sign a contract, Brock Purdy's going to have to put his head on a swivel for the first time in his career. And I think the Niners are going to be looking a little bit more scarce if they don't re-sign a guy as impactful as Trent Williams.
Yeah, then they're going to have Brandon Ayuk playing the traditional acts, which is something he doesn't do.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that he's probably going to be the biggest story of the offseason, and nothing will ever happen with him, most likely.
No,
it's everything else around him.
He'll just resign.
Yep. So while we were talking, the Bills decided to release their practice squad signings. That means they signed 16 players in the sense of quarterback Mike White, running back Frank Gore Jr., 3 wide receivers in Deion Kane, KJ Hamler, and Tyrell Shavers, 1 tight end in Zach Davidson, 3 O-linemen, Richard Gorage, I get his name wrong. Will Clapp is back, everybody! Will Clapp! Mike Edwards, not the safety.
That one.
Not the safeties.
Not the safety. 2 defensive ends, Kingsley Jonathan, Cameron Klein. 2 defensive tackles, Eli Anku, Branson Dean. 2 corners in Daquan Hardy and Corey Couch. I'm shocked he's not on his couch right now. And safety Kareem Jackson.
I've heard of actually 2 of those people.
And then also, the Bills just signed Jalen Virgil.
Who is that?
A wide receiver from Denver who was on their team last year, I'm pretty sure, and also has experience playing special teams. He hasn't been added to the 53-man roster yet, or the practice squad roster, but Brandon Beane did say they will add him probably to either or.
I remember there was a guy in Denver, I think it was a tight end, his last name was Virgil. Maybe that was his first name. Was it Virgil Green?
Yeah.
I remember Virgil Green, yeah.
I thought you were talking about that guy. I don't know. I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
How many guys can you have on the practice squad?
I believe it's 16, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now you got Mike White because your quarterback room consists of Josh Allen,
and
the Subway employee, Mitchell Trubisky.
And the last...
the guy with the funniest name in the NFL, and Ben DiNucci.
He's not there no more.
Is he not?
No, he got cut.
Wow, unfortunate. Very sad.
Ben DiNucci.
And Kareem Jackson's 36, and they put him on a practice squad,
Yeah, you tell him to get after it.
Veteran depth.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing considering that 2 of your starting safeties are also
no Justin Shorter on the practice squad.
Yeah?
I like the wide receivers, though, they kept. I really thought that Deion Kane showed out in the final game against the Panthers.
I agree.
Man, I mean, first of all, he looked like Sammy Watkins out there.
He did.
He had the prime Sammy Watkins.
Yeah. He had the ponytail. I was like, this guy's full on copying Sammy Watkins.
He looked. It just when I was watching because I was at the game, I look at it, I'm like, is that Sammy Watkins? It just looked like Sammy Watkins. But it was pretty cool. Deion Kane, anytime he caught a screen pass or a pass behind the line of scrimmage, he made a guy miss right away, and he was just up the field down the sideline. Whether it was for like an 8-yard gain, a 10-yard gain, or a first down, move the chains, he looked good. And then, I mean, Tyrell Shavers looked really good that first drive. And then we know KJ Hamler. We saw he can play that versatile slot back position. Kind of like that Deebo Samuel role got filled in. Wouldn't mind seeing him play a few games this year. Obviously, knock on wood, if an injury does happen. I wouldn't mind seeing Hamler up here. And then obviously Jalen Virgil from Denver tests really well. An athletic receiver who has a little bit of potential. Not saying this could be a guy who's going to make your top 4, but he's a guy that can maybe make his way onto your 53-man roster at a point in time. If not, they do sign him there, but we'll see.
Do you guys think that the Lancaster kid is going to be able to replace Matt Milano?
Oh, no way.
2 different positions.
Is he not a linebacker?
Milano's an outside linebacker. This kid's inside.
Yeah.
He's a middle linebacker.
Gotcha.
Joe Andreessen is a more prototypical middle linebacker. Downhill, rally to the football, play within your A and B gaps. That's the player that he is. Now, Milano does that, but Milano's also sideline to sideline, one of the best cover guys in the league when healthy.
Andreessen's also not that great in coverage.
No, Andreessen, you can see like any linebacker or any player on a defensive side of the football will have their moments in coverage, and you're like, oh, this guy can do it. But
how big of a hole is Matt Milano? How many games? How many games does missing Matt Milano truly?
Milano missed 4 last year, and the Bills still won the division. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't think it matters as much. I mean, at least you still have Bernard. I think if you didn't have Bernard and we had to go back to A.J. Klein, love A.J. Klein, have nothing bad to say
Dorian
about it.
Williams in there this year.
Right, but I just think as long as you have one of them, I feel like the linebacker core is still good. I mean, yeah, of course, losing Milano, it makes the linebacker room from great to just good.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they survived without him for what? After week 4?
Yeah.
And that was in London against your Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, the London Jags.
And,
don't lose, baby.
Right, and ever since, I mean, yeah, there was that period of, trying to make sure it worked. But, I mean, they got to a point where it was working fine, and then it just injuries started to pick up in the playoffs, and they couldn't do anything about it. I mean, are you really going to expect great things out of your linebackers when they're facing Patrick Mahomes and your starting linebackers are Dorian Williams and A.J. Klein?
Then they have to cover Travis Kelce.
And, yeah, I mean, that you have to spend time on Kelce, and Klein is not known for his coverage in any way, shape, or form.
Well, no, he's big and slow.
Yeah. Right, and he's also, I mean, super old. I mean, not to say super old, but he's up there, at least in linebacker age.
I think that the winner of the AFC East this year, I think they're going to have 10 wins. I don't know who it's going to be, but I see a lot of splits happen in that division. I see a lot of I think the Dolphins probably are going to split with every team in the division. I think the Patriots probably I think the only team that they split with is probably the Dolphins. I think
that's an interesting take.
I think
they always have their number.
That's true.
I think the Bills and the Jets are going to split. I think the Jets are going to split with everybody other than the Patriots. I think you guys are going to split with everybody other than the Patriots.
I mean, that's
fair.
I
got
that puts us at 4-2 in the division. That's enough to win it.
I think 10-7 is probably going to win that division. Maybe 11-6, but I think 10-7 is probably going to win that division. I think the AFC is going to be rather weak this year. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of the division winners are probably going to be around that 10-7, 11-6 mark. Whether it's the Jags or the Texans, whether it's the Bills or the Jets, probably. I really don't have any faith in Miami. I really do not like Tua. And then nobody in the AFC West is going to make it other than the Chiefs. Maybe the Chargers. Maybe.
Really? You're high up on the Chargers. I'm not at all.
I just think that if anybody can make that team work, it's Harbaugh. I really... Fair. I mean, Justin Herbert is already injured. He's already questionable for week 1. I think he's got a hand or a wrist or something going on. I think the Raiders could be sneaky. The Broncos, they're going to suck. I love Bo Nix as much as the next guy, but the Broncos are awful. It could be 3 teams from the North actually make it. I didn't think it was going to be that, but I think 3 teams from the North could make it. I'm kind of questioning the Bengals. Kinda. But I think the Ravens make it easily. I think the Browns could make it if Deshaun Watson isn't Deshaun Watson anymore. If Deshaun Watson goes back to when he almost won MVP in COVID year, I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe. I only say that because I see you doing your record predictions over there, Dan.
I am.
I think the Browns are going to be the biggest disappointment this year in the NFL.
Well,
I think we just expect that now.
No, I mean,
yeah.
if you got to pick a team.
I don't know how big of a disappointment you can be. Like, I don't know how much expectation is on the Browns just because we've seen Deshaun Watson play these last couple seasons.
How much?
And the brother just looks scared.
How much can you be a disappointment when Joe Flacco leads your team to the playoffs?
Oh my God, Joe Flacco is that guy.
I mean,
Flacco!
At that point, I think I would be prepared for anything. From seeing Deshaun play a couple of games, then go down, then go to PJ Walker, I believe it was.
It's Jabu now. It's JMO.
You're right, it's JMO now. I think before it was PJ Walker. I think they tried him for a bit.
It was PJ Walker.
It was
Tyrod was there for a stint.
Tyrod was there.
Was Tyrod there?
That
was
year.
a while ago.
Oh, not last year, yeah.
My crazy
Jacoby Brissett.
No, not last year.
No,
was it the year before?
That was the year before. It was
DTR was there.
DTR.
Yeah.
It was Dorian Thompson
DTR.
Robinson.
How much he sucked.
And then
Deshaun Watson's already dealing with an injury the preseason.
Right.
That's why he didn't play.
Is he really?
Yeah. His shoulder.
I'm telling you, man, his shoulder is really in a weird spot, and it's not allowing him to
I also just think
become the quarterback he was in 2019.
I think he just goes out there, and I think he's in his own head. He knows that everybody is going out, that every time he goes out there, everybody knows what he did, and he knows that everybody knows what he did, right? So he's just out there living in his own head, knowing that he's getting judged by everybody in the stadium. That's what I think.
You have no sympathy, Frank?
Absolutely not.
I have no sympathy for Deshaun Watson.
I that's fair. I mean,
I wouldn't be shocked to see Cleveland take a quarterback.
But I mean,
in this next draft.
And it's also funny to say because under 53, they kept 4 quarterbacks.
That doesn't shock me.
What team keeps 4 quarterbacks?
That literally does not shock me.
And I mean, really, if any owner wants to get mad at the Browns, they deserve to be. I mean, who would have thought you give Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract, and he has played, 4 games, 5 games most for you?
I think combined, he's probably sitting around 10. I think he's probably sitting around 10
probably.
games.
And just think of how much he's getting paid, how much it changed the market. I mean, and he's another bum.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is the reason that Jordan Love just got paid and Trevor Lawrence just got paid. As much as I love him, that's my dad. But
that's my dad.
CJ Stroud's about to get bank, brother. It's gonna be crazy. But yeah, he ruined the quarterback market. He's kind of ruined the NFL's image. He's ruined the Browns' image. I feel like,
and that already was ruined in a sense.
When Baker was there and the Browns went back to the postseason, I feel like everybody was rocking with Cleveland. They're like, oh my God, Cleveland's in the playoffs. What are we watching? This guy Baker Mayfield, he's that guy. And now the Browns made the playoffs last season with Joe Flacco. And yeah, it was a feel-good story, but I feel like nobody watched that game.
People were rocking with Joe Flacco. People weren't rocking with the fact that Cleveland was in the postseason. When Cleveland got back in the first time in the postseason, like you mentioned, it was almost like Buffalo when they broke their drought.
Yep.
They got in and everyone was like, wow, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cleveland did the same thing. Like, that's only just a couple years removed of their 0-16 season, and they're 1-15 the year prior.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield, it's the personality. It's the, I don't care, I'm going to go out there.
I'm going to ball out.
Yes, it's a kind of stick it to you attitude.
Yep.
Which people like. That's what people like and people can rally behind. But Deshaun Watson doesn't have that type of charisma, that type of stick it to you attitude like Baker Mayfield. Deshaun Watson, like, we know what he did in the attitude that, he displays on the field isn't going to get the other fans to rally behind you when they make it to the postseason. It's just not. Maybe Cleveland fans, I'm sure half of them are like, oh, well, this guy's our quarterback. He's under contract. Hopefully he gets back to form.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I've seen some sick Brown fans cheer for him and get fully behind him.
I mean, if you're a Browns fan, like, what do? Like, it's your team, you know?
Right.
You kind of have no choice. I mean,
it's not really going like, oh, you're a Browns fan, you don't have to cheer for him. I mean, you want to cheer for the guy who's your quarterback at the end of the day. I mean, I cheered for Ryan Fitzpatrick knowing he was going to get us nowhere.
Yeah,
sometimes.
But he was still exciting during the drought era.
Oh yeah, I mean, I cheered for E.J. Manuel, Jeff Toole. I mean,
you're definitely a Nate Peterman guy.
Nate Peterman,
David Peterman. But it's like at the end of the day, you're gonna try to cheer for the guy that your team put too much trust in. At the end of the day, and remember,
too much or not enough.
It was all the owner. Because when Deshaun was, getting talked about traded, he wanted to go back home to Atlanta. He wanted, I remember another team was involved. And he knocked out Cleveland until Cleveland came back and said, we'll give you full and guaranteed.
I was about to say, who was the team? There was another team. It was Atlanta, and then there was another one.
Was it Pittsburgh?
No, it was
I'm forgetting who it was because I remember Atlanta is his home.
Yeah,
that's why he wanted to go back.
I knew Atlanta was his top option. It was another like mid-tier to bad team that was in the race for him.
Oh, of course.
Like imagine what the Falcons would be right now if they had Deshaun Watson as their quarterback. Imagine where that other organization would be, whoever they were.
Yeah, I mean,
and poor Cleveland, man, they just can't get a break.
No, you got to blame the Browns. I mean, the owner. I mean, you knew you had a problem.
Well, it's funny.
You go out and sign the guy, and you didn't learn. You didn't learn from Manziel. You didn't have guys who knew about the drinking and all that stuff, and you go and sign him and draft him.
Well, it's funny too. I mean, he also made the decision instead of having a young quarterback in Baker lead that team, because remember, Baker just, I think, made the playoffs that year or the year prior.
It was the year prior, because that year, the year that they signed,
Baker had all the injuries.
Yes,
that's right. He had like 3 injuries on his butt, and they just said, okay, we're going to move on. He wasn't that good. He was injured. And you look at it now, and it's like Baker's in a 10 times better place than you can ever say the Browns are.
Yeah,
I think the Browns are only surviving because of their defense and Jim Schwartz.
Yep.
Yeah,
they don't have Jim Schwartz. They don't have nothing.
Nope.
Let's just put that on the table. If there is no Jim Schwartz, there is no Cleveland Browns with probably Stefanski is gone by this time already. They're probably already on to their next Hugh Jackson 2.0. It's like that owner screwed up so many things for the NFL, his own organization, and I mean, really, it only benefited the Houston Texans.
Literally only benefited Houston. I mean, who did they? Because they just finished off the rest of their first round picks, right? Like, I think it was it 2021 was the last first round pick that they had?
Let's see. Here we go.
In the Cleveland trade, or was it 2022?
So the Texans received from that trade 2022 first, 2022 fourth, 2023 first, 2023 third, 2024 first, 2024 fourth.
Okay.
So they took, with those picks,
Will Anderson.
Yep.
It is Keon Green, Damian Pierce, Will Anderson, Tank Dell, Kamari Lassiter. If I butchered that last name, I'm not sorry. You have the last name. Jamal Hill, and then Caden Bullock.
Okay, so you basically...
I mean, to hit on about probably 3 of the picks, I mean, at least... Even if Pierce isn't that great, he still is a backup at the end of the day. Yep. I mean, how can you argue with a backup? And he was the 4th round pick.
Anderson and
you got the best slot receiver in the NFL right now in Tank Dell.
No, that's KJ Osborne. Please respect KJ Osborne.
Wrong. Always wrong. Never will be correct.
KJ Osborne is always the correct answer.
Wrong. And Will Anderson, who's going to be a stud on the defensive end for a long time to come.
Right.
And you took a off the field, issue filled player off their roster and said, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll set him up for life.
Yep. Filled his pocketbook.
And you know what's funny? They show if the Browns kept the picks, what they could have turned into. Jordan Davis, Damian Pierce, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jalen Hyatt, Brian Thomas Jr. and Cade Stover.
Oh my God.
That's I mean, Cade Stover don't really know, but I mean the rest of those guys, Jordan Davis, David Pierce, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jalen Hyatt, Brian Thomas, I've all heard. They're all at least starters in this league.
Oh my God.
I mean the only one who isn't a starter is Cade Stover.
Wow.
That's
Awful.
embarrassing.
That is awful.
What you could have had. What you could have had.
You know what they say, hindsight's 20/20. Yep. They took a gamble.
They quite literally did it in 2020.
They took a gamble. They thought it would work out. Obviously didn't. Your Cleveland L+ ratio. The only thing that ever worked for you was LeBron James and The Miz.
So true.
You got it. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting season for sure, especially on the AFC. I think the NFC is pretty predictable this season, with the exception of the NFC East. Maybe I really don't know who's going to win that one. Probably the Eagles. I don't expect a lot from the Cowboys, but I don't know. Who do you think is going to win the NFC East? NFC East, boy.
Wait! What? Don't spoil the next segment, Justin.
No.
Don't do that.
Hold on.
That's the whole next hour.
Goodness, man, I'm gonna be gone.
I know you're gonna be gone. That's why you're trying to do it.
I know. That is why I'm trying to do it. Real quick, from my point of view, I just because I am a Jags fan, I will get the AFC South out of the way. At least my opinion, real quick. I do think it's going to be a really tight race for the lead in that division, and like I said earlier, I do think that the winner of this division will go 11-6, maybe 10-7. It's going to be a real tight race. The Jags and the Texans have very comparable schedules. For anybody who does not know, I am not an Anthony Richardson guy. I really don't believe in his ability in the NFL, but I guess we'll see when push comes to shove. And Mr. Hellman's Mayo and Will Levis, that guy. I know everybody's so high on the arm talent, and I know he's athletic, and I know this, and I know that. Will Levis is nothing more than another Kentucky quarterback that's just not going to work. I think that this divisional race comes down to the Texans and the Jags, and all bias aside, I do think Houston is a more prepared organization right now, so my unbiased opinion will be the Texans winning this division at probably 11-6, and the Jags taking second at 10-7. But my completely biased opinion is that the Jags have a real shot of going on like a 12-13 win season here. I feel like people really forget that we did start off last season 8-3. We were cooking before Trevor's injury. Buddy is back. He's fully healthy. Last preseason game, he looked terrific. Had 2 incompletions, 2 touchdowns. He had 100 and some odd yards through the air on 8 completions. The guy looks good. The offense looks good. I think the defense is going to hold us back a little bit. So bias in it, I say the Jags could win 12-13 games, but unbiasedly, I'll take the Texans to win the division, I guess. But I do think the Jags make the playoffs.
All right, I guess thank you for the prediction, Justin, and we'll see you next week.
You will
Wednesday.
See me Monday.
We don't have a show Monday because it is
Wednesday.
Labor Day, and we take off holidays.
Oh, my goodness, it is Labor Day.
It's Labor Day, where everybody should be do hard manual labor.
Well, then, yes. Duval until next Wednesday.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be doing our 2024-2025 season predictions and where we think each team is going to end up in their division. Maybe we'll even get into the playoffs if we have time and pick a Super Bowl winner. So stay tuned on 91.3 FM. Help me, my life's in danger. Evan Harrington's going to throw tape at me. Ah! We're okay. We're okay. Maybe. He still threw it at me. He still threw it at me. Evan, why you threw tape at me? Why you throw tape at me?
Looked tempting.
It looked tempting? That's it? That's all I am to you, tempting? Over there in Studio B, Chris Giacobello.
Yes, sir. We still here.
You still awake?
Still. Somehow.
Somehow.
I don't know how.
The 8 o'clock class, man.
8 o'clock is kicking my butt.
8
that
o'clock.
class.
Don't we love 8 o'clock classes? And then, right next to Chris, Joey Cheese.
We're pumped for hour 2 here. We're ready to go.
And then, last but not least, over the phone, Frank the Tank Lopez.
I'm eating McDonald's now.
He's chewing.
He's eating. Okay.
Did you
okay.
get McNuggies?
Wait, before we start, we got pause everything.
Where do you get McDonald's from?
A, yes. Where did you get McDonald's from? And B, what did you get?
I got the $5 meal deal, so I got a McChicken, 4 nuggets, a small fry, and a Coke.
Fan meal.
And then
Value at its
an
best.
extra, yeah.
You get a toy?
It sounds like an adult kids meal.
That's like the collector's meal they got. You see
Yeah.
those cups? They got like
yeah.
They brought them
They
back.
have,
the
like,
Shrek
8 cups?
and stuff. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of want to get one.
Barbie one.
I need the Grimace cup.
I want-
Of course, Frank silently goes, I want the Barbie one.
Oh, right.
Ronald McDonald
Wait, Frank,
cup.
did you just get McDonald's now? Like, did you just drive to your local McDonald's?
Yeah.
Like, or did you DoorDash it? Or
He rode his bike.
No, my mom was out, and she asked me if I wanted McDonald's. I was like, F yeah.
that's the best.
What a mom. What a clutch mom.
I gotta admit, it ain't right if they don't ask, do you want McDonald's?
We got McDonald's at home.
Oh, I hated that response. No, we don't. There's no McDonald's at home.
You ever see, speaking of that, that actually reminds me of a video I just saw on TikTok. There's this guy, I don't know if you ever guys saw this guy before. He, like, builds things in his parents' house.
Like just random stuff?
Yeah, like he built like a tiki bar in his parents' house.
What?
He built like a basketball court.
It's
like small stuff. He'll just build the small stuff. And one time he built a McDonald's drive-through in his parents' house. All it was is he put up these like plywood, and like wood beams, and then he like took I don't know, like kind of like McDonald's siding, like plastic, and he put it on the thing, and he had it cut out, and he had a McDonald's uniform, and he actually like it was legit, like he had McDonald's, and it was pretty cool.
You know, it makes me think about, because I get videos where there's this guy who replaces things in his house. You know, he lives with his parents, but he puts booze or alcohol
That's
in
the
everything.
guy.
That's the same guy. That's the same guy. Okay,
I'm just saying he does. I didn't want to say he just did that. Like he actually
he does just do that. So that's the ones I see, which weirdly enough.
Well, we know your algorithm. we know what TikTok's trying to send you.
Yeah, alcohol,
God.
and more alcohol. Oh my God.
I was just going for like, you know, stuff that's pretty cool. Like, oh,
Yeah,
he
and
built
I'm
a
like-
tiki bar. He built a campsite. Oh, he built a house in his house.
And yeah, he has a water cooler full of margarita mix.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah,
Forget his name, but yeah, his videos are
okay.
funny.
We're at the same point here. That's
Yeah, it's same point, different.
just different angle.
We're on the same island, just at different parts.
Right. All right. Back to the topic at hand. Season predictions. Big time. You know, next week we're probably going to do our in-house fantasy draft. Our annual in-house fantasy draft. It will be the 3rd year. That's crazy. But first, we gotta see how the season rolls out in everybody's mind. You know, it makes no sense that we just draft players and we don't have like a favorite team to look at. So what we do here, it was go division by division. You go, 1 through 4, and you say the records, and if you want, you can say like a random game that you think they're gonna win. I don't know if you really remember all the games to really be like, oh, well, this game I have. But, if you want to, go right ahead. No problem. We'll start with Chris. We'll go to Joey. Then we'll go to the phone guy, Harrington, and then myself. So,
Okay.
Chris, we are starting in the AFC. We're going to do the whole AFC first. So, go to the AFC West, my friend.
Okay, hold on. Gotta get these standings up.
I
'Cause I'd be
asked
forgetting.
you if you were ready, Chris.
Okay, no, I had it. I got it. Okay, you said AFC West?
AFC West.
Okay, AFC West. Let's see here. You want me to include the record or just like say who's
Include
first?
the record,
okay.
please.
Gosh. Okay. here, I'm going to just have to go with the obvious Kansas City first. I'm probably going to say, like, a shocking 11-6. I think they're going to drop some games here and there. I mean, I don't think they're the team they used to be. They're still good, but, you know, they're not like that dominant dynasty. Coming in second, I want to go... Gosh. I feel like there's just only one good team in this. You know what? Let's put the Vegas Raiders there. Let's have them at... We'll say 10-7. We'll give them a nice little record. Why not? In third, the Chargers. They're probably going to go... Probably say 9-8. And then last, the Broncos, sadly, at 5-12. We'll say 5-12.
Joey, moving on to you.
I got the Chiefs winning the division at 11-6. I think the rest of the division's pretty much garbage. I got the Chargers at 8-9, the Raiders at 7-10, and the Broncos at 6-11.
Frank, phone guy.
Yeah, I got Chiefs at. I was gonna go 11-6, but I'm gonna go 12-5. And Dan, you know how much I love my quarterbacks. Broncos come in second at 9-8. Chargers in third at 8-9, and then Raiders sit last at 6-11.
Yeah, so for myself here, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs at 12-5. I'm not going to overthink it. Patrick Mahomes coming off 2 straight Super Bowl victories, looking for that three-peat. I think the Chiefs, they're going to have a little bit of struggles this season, but it's not going to be enough to not stop them from going 12-5 and winning the division. Second, I actually have the Chargers going 9-8. I could see them going 10-7, but 9-8, first year under Harbaugh. So we'll see how that goes. Third, I actually have the Broncos. I think Bo Nix might be the future there in Denver, Colorado. Give me them at 7-10, but a much vast improvement under Sean Payton's year 2 regime. The Raiders, 4-13. I just don't see it. I don't think Gardner Minshew is this quarterback everyone's hyping him up to be. He's a quality backup, but he's no more than a shoe-in starter. And you don't want a shoe-in starter with a division led by the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. 4-13 Raiders. Down they go.
Minshew Mania not in the cards for Mr. Evan Harrington. I start off with the Chiefs, of course, number one. 14-3. I think they stay as dominant as they have in this division. I don't think anybody touches them. And if they do, it's hard. I think they have the one hiccup game against Las Vegas again, just as a funny, like, haha, you suck. But, you know, they'll be fine. They'll be 14-3. Then here's where I kind of get a little, I think a little extreme. The Chargers and the Broncos tied at 5-12.
Wow, that's a big gap. That is a big gap.
And then the Las Vegas Raiders at 4-13.
Wow, that is I don't think there's ever been.
It is
that
just
much,
more. I am taking a
that's
high,
wider than Strahan's teeth gap.
Jeez.
It's a large gap, but it makes sense why it's there. I don't trust Harbaugh. I think they're going to play too much run, and they're just not going to have time to get back from a deficit. Because if they have to pass the ball, I don't really trust Josh Palmer or Lam McConkey yet. Then, rookie year for Bo Nix. I think it's going to be, you know, what a rookie year looks like. 5-12. Here you go. You know, is it that great? No. Is it that bad? Could be worse. And then, Oakland 4-13. I agree with you, Harrington. Minshew. I bet at some point Aiden O'Connell's going to come in. It's just too much of a flip. It's like you need a 1, and you don't have a 1. You have 2 2s. So, that's just where I'm at. Moving on. Chris, start us for the AFC East.
AFC East? Okay. AFC East. Oh, wow. I mean, I'm going to stick with the Bills here, number 1. I think they're going to keep going. keep the streak alive of winning their conference. They're not their AFC East. But I think they're gonna have their record wise. I want to say is I'd probably say 12 and 5. Second, I see the Jets going there. Possibly one game behind, so maybe 11 and 6, maybe 10 and 7. Then we got Miami third. I'm probably gonna say 9 and 8, and then New England 6 and 11 at that last spot.
Joe, moving on to you.
I got the Jets winning the division at 10 and 7. That's if Rodgers can stay healthy. And I mean, they got weapons in Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. I mean, next I got Buffalo 9 and 8. I got them getting a wild card there, but they just got too many questions to me. Where I mean, all new wide receivers and just injuries already. Miami at 9 and 8, but we would take the tiebreaker from them, and then New England at 4 and 13.
Mr. Frank the Tank Lopez.
I have the Bills winning the division at 10 and 7. I think there's going to be some, worries early on in the season, but just like last season, I think they're going to turn around even faster. So I have them win the division at 10 and 7. Jets 9 and 8. Dolphins also 9 and 8. They come in third, and then Patriots dead last at 5 and 12.
For me, I have the Bills winning this division, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be at 10 and 7. I don't believe the Bills are going to run away with this division with over 11 or 12 wins. I could see the Bills getting 11 wins, but it's going to be tight. The Bills are going to win a lot of close games this year, in my opinion, and I think it's going to come down to a tiebreaker at the end, which I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Bills' last game of the season is against New England, which is a division game.
Yeah. Yep, no, you're correct.
They are going to have the same record as the number 2 team, which is going to be the New York Jets. But the Bills are going to have just one more win in the division, and that's going to be over New England, and that's going to be how we're going to get in. But I also think the Jets are going to make the playoffs as well at 10 and 7, while the Dolphins are going to go 7 and 10, and the Patriots. Though I did like actually what I saw to Drake made this preseason, and he could be the number 2 quarterback in this division in just a year or two, depending on what goes on with Tua and the longevity left with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take the Patriots at 5 and 12, but I got the Bills winning 10 and 7. Their ceiling this year is 12 and 5. I really think their floor is 9 and 8, but I think they're going to have a nice little spot winning the division there at 10 and 7, but it can easily be the Jets as well.
Let me be my biased Bills fan. 13 and 4. I think they break the ceiling. I think it's a little bit more shocking. I think they lose some of the games they're expected. Maybe the Chiefs, 49ers, kind of the tougher teams. Baltimore can be in there. But Houston, yeah.
We have a lot of tough teams.
That's true.
We might have the hardest schedule.
You guys have a 5-game streak of, yeah.
I still think they get it done. I still think Josh will will the way. And, you don't need an offense or a defense when you have a Josh Allen.
6 games of the season.
It is, Cardinals, Miami.
Cardinals with the returning Kyler.
Yep.
Dolphins, Jaguars.
Yep.
Baltimore, Houston, and the Jets. I think the Bills have to get out to a 2-0 start right away.
I agree.
There's no. I think you can afford a loss maybe to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or Jags, but I think you got to go 3-1 in your first 4.
Yeah, you can't. I think you have to finally put the Jags in the ground. It seems like the Jags always have our number.
Because you got to be 500 or better coming out of it. I think you got to be 4-2 at least coming out of the 6-game stretch. Because then you got Tennessee and Seattle, which you should beat, which should get you to 6-2, and then I think you split with either Miami or the Colts. One of those two you split. Sitting at 7 and 3, 7 and 4, I think isn't the worst spot.
No, not at all at that point. Then I have the Jets going 10 and 7. Same with Miami, 10 and 7. And then I have the Jared Mayo New England Patriots having Let me just check to make sure. The second worst record in the league at 3-14. I do not believe in Jacoby. I do not believe in Drake May. And even if Drake May is as good as he is in preseason, I just don't know with that receiving core, and they have no defense now. I mean, Judon's gone. I mean, it's just scrap. It's just a lot of scrap there, and there ain't no metal. So I just think they're not going to have a good season. Moving on, AFC North, Chris.
All right, with the North, I'm just going to pick the obvious here. I think with the addition of Derrick Henry is really going to help this team take that number one spot with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to do pretty well. I see them going 12-5 in that number one spot. Behind them at number two, I'd probably say Cincinnati at maybe 10-7, 11-6, just depending on how Joey Burrow performs. Jamar Chase is still Jamar Chase. Then I'm going to say Pittsburgh in that third spot. I'm going to say they're 9-8. Another over 500 season. And then last is going to be Cleveland at, I'd probably say 7-10.
Joe, go right ahead.
Okay, all right. I got Baltimore winning this division, 12-5. I think they're the class of the division. But Cincinnati, just a game behind them at 11-6. The Browns, like I said earlier, I got no faith in them. But 8-9, and Tomlin gets a losing season at 7-10.
Frank?
All right, here it comes, baby. Bengals in first at 12-5. Ravens in second at 10-7. Browns in third at 9-8, and the Steelers in last at 7-10.
I have Baltimore not winning this division. I have Cincinnati winning this division at 12-5. Baltimore is going to go 11-6. The Steelers are going to go 9-8, and the Browns are going to go 7-10. This is a very competitive division, year in and year out. Really, all four of these teams can beat one another. I think any given year, any one of these teams, when they're fully healthy and they got everything going their way, they could compete for that number one seed within the AFC North division. But just with a couple of the question marks going on with Cleveland and Deshaun Watson, things going on with the quarterback disparity in Pittsburgh, we just saw Russell Wilson was named the starter, but we don't know if he's going to be the starter all year. We know what's proven, and that's the Bengals and the Ravens being the top two teams over the last couple of seasons. Give me the Bengals with 12-5 winning this one.
I have Baltimore actually winning the division, not even on division, to head-to-head. We're going to the second tiebreaker here at 12-5. That means the Bengals also 12-5. Both end up 3-3 in the division in my mind. So it's just that head-to-head. Actually, would it be the AFC score? It would be the AFC score, how they did against the AFC. Even another tiebreaker added in. Then Browns, no faith, 8-9. Pittsburgh, even less faith, 6-11. Moving on to the last division in the AFC South.
AFC South, okay. Here I'm going to put Houston at first. They're probably going to do pretty well this season, I see. CJ Stroud just had a phenomenal year. I think he's going to keep it up. I see them going 12-5. Behind them, I see Jacksonville trailing just one game behind. I'm going to say 11-6. Then I'm going to probably say Indy at 10-7, and then Tennessee at 7-10.
Okay, I think this division's got three really good teams, and they're going to beat each other up. I got Houston winning the division at 12-5, the Colts at 11-6, the Jags at 9-8, and the Titans at 2-15.
Frank?
The Houston Texans are probably one of the best teams in the AFC, probably in NFL history. Not history. Listen, I'm tired.
History.
What?
What
Everyone
a
shut up.
bold
Everyone
take.
shut up. Everyone shut up.
What?
Everyone shut up right now. Listen, I just scarfed out on McDonald's, and now my stomach hurts.
It was a
All right,
$5 meal.
Go take a nap, man. Take a nap.
You had
meal
4
cost you-
McNuggies.
You had 4 nuggets, a small fry, and a McChicken.
And it, all of a
My
sudden,
bad.
your
A
stomach-
medium pop. With ice.
Thank you.
Oh, my bad. Don't forget about the sauce. Comes with the nuggies.
Barbecue. Texans win the division at 12-5. The Colts come in second at 10-7. Jags sit third at 9-8, and the Titans are 3-14.
All right. I have Houston winning this division at 12-5. I'm gonna have the Jaguars going at 10-7 in second. Colts 8-9, and the Titans at 5-12. Once again, this is a division I believe that could almost be like the AFC North in a couple of years. A lot of young quarterbacks in this division, good coaches, teams that are up on the uprise, and I think that all 4 quarterbacks currently starting in this division will be the franchise quarterbacks for these teams for the next few years. So it's gonna be a fun division to watch. But Texans at 12-5.
I have a shocker here.
Oh no.
Justin, you may not believe in them, but I believe in them. The Jacksonville Jaguars go 11-6 to win the division.
They were about to say the Titans.
Then Indy goes 10-7. Same with the Texans, 10-7. And then Tennessee goes 5-12. Mr. Mayo Man does not live up to anything. He just sucks. Just like his Essence perfume commercial. Ugh. I never want to see that again. Oh, how that lives in my mind. I never want to see it. Never want to. All right, moving over to the NFC. Chris, get us started with the NFC West.
NFC West. Okay. Here, probably just gonna go with the 49ers. I'll say 13. You know what? Scratch that. 12-5. I'm gonna say 12-5 for the Niners. Behind them, God, this is a toss-up between 3 teams. You know what? Let's go. We'll say Seattle second as a surprise, but I think they're gonna go probably 10-7. Behind them, the Rams at 9-8, and then Arizona at 5-12.
The NFC West, I got San Francisco winning the division to 12-5. Seattle going 9-8. The Rams 7-10, and the Cardinals 4-13.
Frank?
Yeah, hold on.
Hold
I'm trying to hit
on.
a golf ball right now.
He's
What-
golfing?
What is this guy doing? He's eating McDonald's, playing golf. Like, Frank, you're just a man of, I want to say many talents, but you're just a man of many things going on.
Man of multitasking right now.
Yeah. All right, I guess I'll
Hitting
go.
your driver into a net is the best way you can clear your mind.
Into a net. All right.
49ers obviously win the division. I have them either going 12-5 or 13-4. I'm not solidified on that yet. Then the Rams come in second, 10-7 or 11-5. I believe in Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Nakua and Kyron Williams or whatever. Seahawks third, 9-8 or 8-9, and then Cardinals last at like 5-12.
Chris and Joey, I can't believe the utmost disrespect you guys are giving the LA Rams. I have them winning the
Be
division.
like
I think they're going 12-5. I'm all in on the Rams this year. I really think that they have something going this year. I really think this might be the last year or two run that McVay and Stafford have with one another, with Cooper Kupp being 31 years old. We saw Stafford kind of get back to his elements last year. Puka Nakua's on the rise. They have a nice young back in Kyron Williams. I think they win at 12-5. I think the 49ers go 11-6, and that doesn't mean they're not going to do damage in the playoffs. But right now, there's a lot of uncertainties with this team. There's a lot of question marks. What's going on with Brandon Ayuk? What's going on with the best offensive lineman in the National Football League, Trent Williams. He still doesn't have a contract. What's going on with that? We don't know what's going on. Not saying that's going to overall impact their team immediately, but I can see them going 11-6 with just this offseason drama not allowing them to be their full selves. Give me Seattle at 8-9. Geno Smith still solid, but the Seahawks we had the conversation earlier. They're almost like the Steelers at this point. It's like you're just kind of there. They're not going to be in lottery pick potential. They're not going to be in the playoffs, but they're just going to be like the 14th pick. And then the Cardinals, I like Kyler Murray, man. I really want to see him get back to his playing style and play some really good football. But I just don't think the Cardinals team is good enough to compete in this top-end division. I have them going 7-10. Not a bad year, but not good enough. They're fourth.
I start off with the 49ers at 13-4, but I will not disrespect the Rams. I have them going 10-7 and still making the playoffs. They'll be just fine. Then I actually have the Cardinals and Seahawks tied at 7-10. So no real loser. Everybody does kind of okay. I mean, Seattle, first-year head coach, actually first-time head coach. I'm still kind of iffy on the Cardinals' whole coaching staff. It's kind of like I need a year. So, I think 7-10 is fine for both of them. But I still think 49ers are above everybody in this division, even with the problems they may be having. Moving on. Chris, your favorite division, the NFC East.
Ooh. Okay.
The NFC least.
Hey. That was in the past, okay? That was in the past. Everything's changed. No, but I think, you see...
I typed in NFC least, and that's what came up.
Hear
NFC
me out.
East.
The NFC East has not had a back-to-back winner in, years. Dallas won it last year. You're going to see the Eagles win it this year. I believe they're going to go 13-4. With the addition of Saquon Barkley... I mean, the Eagles, they had a running back in Miles Sanders a couple years ago. They had DeAndre Swift last season. I don't think they really utilized them well, but, I mean, with Barkley, he can make himself a presence in the passing game as well as the running game, which I think is going to be really helpful. It's going to be, obviously, a big loss because of Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox. I mean, those are your two long tenure captains they had in that team for, years. And just to see how the two new guys, I don't know their names off the top of my head, just to see how they perform and just fill in those shoes. I think it's going to be exciting. I think Jalen Carter is going to have a phenomenal year. His rookie year wasn't so great, but if you look at the tape, every single game he was playing was double teamed 24/7. But finishing in the NFC East, I have the Eagles at first, 13-4. I'm saying Dallas is going to be second. I'm going to say probably, I'll say 11-6 for Dallas. Then behind them is going to be, we'll give it to the Giants, 7-9. No. 7-10, and then Washington 4-13.
Wow.
In the NFC East, I got Philly at 11-6. I got Barkley out by week 3.
Wow.
Oh.
Well.
Dallas, not they're just vanilla. They just do it every year, but then they don't do nothing in the playoffs. So it'll be 10-7. And I got both Washington and the Giants at 7-10.
Frank, Mr. McDonald, golf ball man.
Hey, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey,
I watched
Eden
him
Hazard.
Eden Hazard.
Oof.
Gareth Bale.
Oof.
Frank is slicing everyone in these shots.
You've seen my Snapchat. You know that's not true.
Yeah, I know. I've seen your Snapchat. It went out of the camera frame. I'm kidding.
How dare you? Yeah, it was on an angle.
Yeah. That's what they all say when they slice. It was on an angle.
Cowboys win the division at 12-5. Eagles sit at a nice 10-7. Screw the Birds.
What? Do you have
Okay.
do you have a
All right, you know
prediction
what?
for Saquon Barkley too?
I'm changing my Tampa Bay answer once we get to the NFC South.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got them winning the division.
we haven't even gotten there, Frank.
guy,
You should have
Chris.
waited for that comment.
Crazy.
Commanders take third at like 7, 10, or 8 and 9, and the Giants are absolutely abysmal. They are 1 and 16.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazier than the Week 3 Barkley prediction. Let's give it a Week 6.
Hey, we got a Week 5 bye, so
Yeah.
maybe that'll help.
We'll be back by Week 6.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with the Eagles here. 13-4. I think they win this division pretty comfortably. Dallas, I think, goes 11-6. I mean, Dallas and Philadelphia are obviously the two top teams in this division, and they'll probably split a game throughout the season. We know Dallas in the regular season is a different monster than they are in the playoffs. There's no questioning that. And I think the Giants, they have an okay year, but it's not enough to like make them move the 8 ball on anything, maybe other than getting rid of Daniel Jones. I think they go 8 and 9. I think Dayball's good enough to rally the troops there, and then come the Commanders. I'm excited to see Jaden Daniels. He intrigued me in the preseason. He's an intriguing quarterback prospect playing at LSU. He can move. He's fast. He's got some solid arm talent, but again, rookie year in a top end division. I think the Commanders go 6-11. And Barkley's out by week 14, 2 weeks out. He's back to the playoffs.
What's with all this Barkley hate?
But no, he's going to be banged up for like 2 weeks.
This is especially hurtful for Chris because he drafted Saquon Barkley number 3.
And I have such high expectations for this man.
I'm a huge Barkley fan, man. He went to Penn State.
Yeah. I just don't think he had a line in New York. So this is going to be a different story.
He doesn't have a line now.
What?
Whoa!
What?
He's right. Okay.
Frank's out for blood against your Eagles,
Bet.
Chris.
Say no more. Just wait till we get to the NFC South.
I just heard the golf swing. I just heard the whoosh. I just heard it.
Yeah, you can hear the swoosh like the Nike swoosh.
Yeah, it probably went
The
all the
Nike
way out.
You think I'm lying?
No, I just wasn't expecting the swoosh. Okay, not
Just
expect the
listen.
swoosh.
Just
We got Happy Gilmore out here.
I have
Yeah, we call him Happy Slice More.
That's outrageous.
Oof.
Oh my God! I have the Eagles going 14-3, Dallas 10-7, Commanders 6-11, and then the Giants. I'm assuming Brian Daboll gets fired at week 7. They go 4-13.
Ooh,
Whoa.
I just don't. And it's not Daboll's fault. It's not Daboll's fault. It's all Shine's. It really is. Right as Shine said, we're keeping Daniel Jones. You knew the ship was sinking. You just knew. It's just like, oh, all right, everybody.
Didn't he throw like 3 picks in a preseason game, or am I?
He threw the. I think he had 2.
Oh, 2.
Yeah.
That's still mid-season form for him.
Oh, it is. Trust me. Last year I had him as my QB2.
Oof.
Somehow I traded away Deshaun Watson and Javon Achane for Jalen Hurts. Don't know how I did it.
Wow, what a steal.
Don't know how I did it.
What a steal.
Wait, say that again?
I traded away Deshaun Watson before he got hurt last year, and same with Devon Achane before he got hurt, for Jalen Hurts.
When did you do that? Around week 7?
Yeah, around week 6, week 7, yeah.
Yeah, because that was when Devon Achane was
Was
at his
actually, on fire. Yeah, that helped. That helped a lot. All right, moving on. NFC South. Chris, your
NFC South. I'm ready for this.
Your Buccaneers prediction
Let's
has
go.
changed in the last 20 seconds.
In the last 2 minutes. All right, in the South, we're going to see Big Kirko take Atlanta to that number 1 spot.
Ooh.
At 13-4.
Wow.
Big Kirko having a big Euro. Oh my God.
All right.
New Orleans is going to finish in that second spot, probably 9-8. We're going to see Carolina in third, also at 9-8. And then you're going to see your first ever 0-17 Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the 2024-25 NFL season.
Boom.
I just want to let you know it's not the first time our first season ever was 0-17.
Baker Mayfield torn ACL 10 minutes after week 1.
Oh, 10 minutes in. Oh,
He's got pin gals in
I'm
here.
not the one that made it. I didn't make a single Saquon Barkley injury thing. I just said that.
And then he's going to miraculously get healed.
Don't throw me under the bus here, Frank. I did nothing.
I still love you, though,
Yeah,
Frank.
but I didn't say anything about Saquon being hurt. He's saying my quarterback's going to tear his ACL.
And then it's going to get repaired magically.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
Aaron
it.
Exactly.
Rodgers,
Look at
dolphin
that.
noises.
All right, the NFC South. I have the Falcons going 11-6. We all know who Drake London is, but the rest of the country is going to find out who Drake London is. Tampa Bay at 9-8. New Orleans at 7-10. Carolina 3-14.
All right, it's time.
Oh no! Oh god!
Is he going to boom?
I think he might boom. I don't know if it's going to be a golf ball or himself.
I'm booming these balls. Let me just say.
Boom! Big Justice. Boom, 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 boom.
Chris, Frank, you really need to go after Big Justice. They took boom from you.
They did. I mean, I didn't trademark it. I should have.
The Costco guy. Boom.
Now you guys steal double chunk chocolate chip cookie from him?
No, it's double chunk chocolate cookie.
Chocolate cookie.
I want a chicken bake.
Chicken bake.
We're
Every
the
time I watch
Costco
one of the videos,
guys.
it makes me.
Okay, Big Justice Jr., pick your...
Big Justice Jr.
Your videos make me more depressed than I already am.
Oh, my God. Just don't think about being sad. You'll be okay.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Anytime, buddy.
I'm gonna go from last to first. Last place, Carolina, 2-15. As a short man, Bryce Young is awful at quarterback, so they're awful. Third, New Orleans. I hate Cam Jordan. Derek Carr will never be the answer for anyone, so thank God that he's still there. Second place, it's the Atlanta Falcons, sitting a nice little probably.
The Tampa Falcons. Good team.
9-8 is what the Falcons will be. And in the first place, the home of your 2025 Super Bowl champion,
Oh, okay.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are winning that division with a nice 11-6 record. There's something in the sky that looks like the aliens from Nope, and I'm kind of scared.
Stop the cap. All right. I have the Falcons going 11-6 and winning this division. In second place, I actually have the Saints going 9-8. I got the Bucks going 8-9, and then I have the Panthers going 7-10.
Wow, 7-10 is high for the Panthers, I gotta admit. Frank, we have pretty similar records here. Buccaneers 11-6, winning the division.
Yeah.
Atlanta 10-7, so just one game behind. Then Saints at 7-10, and then Carolina at 2-15 for my worst in the league. I just don't think they're good. Wow, we actually went through the whole ESPN primetime music track list.
Wow.
That is shocking. I don't think we've ever done that before. That's odd. I'm speechless right now. Chris, NFC North.
Alrighty.
Last division.
Gosh. This might be an interesting one if you subtract Minnesota out of this division, but I think I'm going to stick with Detroit going first in this one. I see them going... I'll go 12-5. Chicago and Green Bay, I honestly think is a toss-up for me. I think they're both probably going to finish 10-7, I believe. But I think Green Bay's going to take that second spot. Chicago third, and then last Minnesota with probably going to go 3-14.
Okay, in the good old black and blue division. I got the Lions going 12-5. The Packers going 10-7. The Bears at 9-8. Both those teams taking wild cards. The Vikings at 7-10. And in case we don't get to the playoffs, I got the Bears taking San Fran out of the playoffs.
Whoa.
Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears?
The Bears. First place is the Detroit Lions at 13-4. Second place, the Chicago Bears at 11-6. Third place, the Green Bay Packers at 10-6. Did I do my math right?
10-7.
10-7. And then last place, the Minnesota Vikings at 7-10.
All right. I have the Detroit Lions going 13-4, actually winning the NFC. Next, I have the Packers going 10-7. The Bears going 7-10, and then the Vikings actually going 5-12.
I'm the only different one here.
Oh, he's got the Vikings winning.
Oh, God.
I have the Green Bay Packers winning the division at 11-6. I mean,
right.
Detroit's not far away. Detroit's 11-6 too. Basically, Green Bay just wins on division record. That's what it is. Then Sam Darnold is gonna shock the world and go 6-11.
Wow, more than my prediction.
And then the Chicago Bears are gonna bear. They're not gonna be good.
Bear what?
They're gonna bear defeat. They're just not going to be good. 5-12.
Whoa, yeah.
I do not think Caleb Williams is anything good. If you looked at preseason, he looks great. He looks amazing, right? You know who else looked really good last season in preseason? Kenny Pickett.
Nathan Peterman. Oh.
I don't have any trust in this Bears team. I think they can be good. I just don't think with Eberflus they will be good. I think they need a change in coaches before they actually do anything substantial with Caleb Williams. Now, who do you have in your Super Bowl? Chris, we'll start with you again.
Oh, man.
We'll skip a couple of rounds. Just give the final two and the winner.
Gosh.
While you hear Frank keep on hitting golf balls.
Or
man. Gosh, this is a tough one.
Is it really that tough?
It is, because I don't want to be biased. You know what? I'll be biased. We're going to pick the Eagles. And... God, who from the AFC? We'll say Baltimore. Why not?
Yeah,
it's going to be Bird Gang in the Super Bowl.
Ooh, a bird.
Chris, I will say, it isn't the Blitz without bias.
Can't 12 bias without Blitz.
In the AFC Championship game, I have the Chiefs beating Houston. In the NFC Championship game, I got the Lions beating the Packers. And in the Super Bowl, the Lions over the Chiefs.
Wow.
Lions' first Super Bowl dub with their first appearance.
Frank, I did hear you say Tampa Bay is winning it all, but who's the AFC representative at least?
You mentioned the bias, right? And there's a Super Bowl that I think we as friends would all love to see and test how much we all really are friends.
Oh, God. Is he going to say
I want Tampa versus Buffalo in the Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield beating Josh Allen.
Somebody from the peanut gallery
and
just
Frank
started clapping.
just woke up from his nap.
No, he's still hitting golf balls.
Yeah, he's in a dream. He's hitting golf balls, eating a $5 fan meal, waking up. Oh, the Bucs won another Super Bowl, Baker Mayfield?
Yes.
That's why he was able to do so many things, because he was in a sleep. He had a dream.
It all makes sense now.
It all makes sense.
Took a 2-hour nap. All right, myself. You know what? With all the Josh Allen hate going on in the last 24 hours, saying he's the most overrated quarterback in the National Football League, he's the biggest trash talker too, apparently. Didn't know that, but that's apparently a thing. Give me the Bills in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to make it this year. I think Josh Allen's going to go on the 2021 run where he was just hot and no one can stop him except Sean McDermott himself. And I think it's going to be Bills-Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to get back to the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles are the number one team in the NFC consistently. Lions make a good case. 49ers always make a good case every year, but I think it's going to be Bills-Eagles.
Could I just say if we could see a rematch of that game, like when they played last year in Philly in the rain? I know it was a heartbreak. I'm sorry.
No, but it was a great game.
But it was if you're a neutral fan watching that game was top tier.
I'm going to say Bills, of course, but I think I'm going to take a little bit of a shocker. They put up a fight against Dallas. I think they can do better against the 49ers. I think the Green Bay Packers somehow make it to the Super Bowl, and we get the actual Super Bowl I matchup that should have happened if it wasn't for the stupid Kansas City Chiefs. And of course, I think Bills come on top. I mean, how can I not be positive? You know, at least that's more realistic than saying the Sabres are winning the Stanley Cup. That's going to do it for this show because it is 3:59 and we have to be out of here.
No,
I know. Thank you all for joining us this week. Frank, thank you for hitting golf balls and being on the phone at the same time while eating your McDonald's and whatever else you were doing. I heard you said thank you to somebody at some point, so I assume you got a drink.
Hit it in the sand, Frank.
Listen, boys, follow your dreams. All right? That's all I got to say. Focus on yourself.
All right. Inspirational words from Frank. That's where we're going to leave Frank off.
Slice. Is he coming back? You going to come back ever?
Who knows? Frank might just be stuck on the golf course.
He's just at a random golf course in Florida.
He's here in spirit.
He's mailing it in.
All right. We're off Monday because of Labor Day, so we won't be here. Oh. Wait, Harrington?
I was just saying, have a good Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, of course. And we will see you next week, Wednesday and Friday. And then the week after, we get back to our normal 3-day-a-week schedule. So keep listening to 91.3 FM, WBNY Buffalo, Buffalo's original alternative since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. We'll see you next week.